Hi everyone, welcome to this yoga class where the theme is binding. So by binding we might mean joining one hand to the other hand in a pose, or maybe joining the hand to the foot in a pose. And it's not a necessity at all, but sometimes binding can just take you a little bit deeper into a pose, maybe give you a little bit more sensation. But it's definitely not something that you should force or push. So if your body is just not getting into the position you wanted, then just listen to it. Don't injure yourself in the process. Sometimes you're nearly there, it's really, really close. And in that case, you can take a strap or a belt or a towel, anything that'll just do the job of lengthening your arms for you a little bit. So instead of one hand meeting the other hand in a pose, you can dangle the strap and just hold on to either end, or as much of the length of it as you need to. And then you can kind of creep your hands a little bit closer if there's space to maneuver. So have a strap or a clothing belt handy, and I'll show you in a little while how you might use that. But to start with, we're going to go onto hands and knees for our warm-up. So coming into all four position, spread the fingers. So make sure all 10 knuckles are down on the ground. And on your exhale, press through the hands around your spine, come into your cat stretch. On your inhale then, let the chest and the belly button gently drop, coming into cow. 3 more rounds of that, using your breath to start to create a rhythm and flow to your movement. So exhale for one movement, fully inhale for the other. 2 more rounds. And last time coming into the cow. And then coming back to a neutral spine. From there, step your right foot forward on the mat. And then creep the toes as far forward as you can. Walk your hands in line with that foot, maybe even tuck your back toes and creep your back knee further behind you. So you're coming into a long lunge with as much of a distance between your right heel and your left knee as you can. Then prop yourself up on your fingertips, lift your chest, lunge your right knee forward so that it's over your ankle. Make sure your toes are the furthest forward point of the body. Take an inhale, and then exhale, bring your hips back and fold over that front leg. Try and make your breath full and deliberate and long so that you can start your flow here as well. Inhale, lunging forward and lifting the chest. Exhale, lunging back and folding. 3 more in either direction. And last one. Good, and then from there, I'm just going to turn to face the camera for this one. So you've got your right foot forward, lift your upper body up and bring your right foot out to the side so that it's pointing 90 degrees away from you. Have a roughly a 90-degree angle at your knee, and then push your right hand against the inside of that leg, turn your chest to the left and reach out with the left hand. Then bring the left fingertips to your ear and start to slide this right hand down the inside of your shin bones, down the inside of the calf. Every so often stop and use the position of the elbow against the inside of the leg to push against and roll your chest open. So you're taking that left elbow up and back in the process. And then again, continue a little bit deeper maybe. So we're using these movements as our warm-up. You're not necessarily going to your very deepest or fullest expression of this pose straight away. Just easing yourself in, feeling that stretch, that lengthening down your left-hand side. Good. Give it 1 or 2 more breaths here. Still kind of rolling the left side of the rib cage back. And then bring yourself all the way back up. From there, straighten that right leg. Turn the toes to point forward so the arch of the foot is lining up with your left knee. Reach out with the left hand, bring it down onto the ground and lift the right leg. From here, bend the knee and reach back with your right hand and try and grab hold of your foot or your ankle or even your trousers or your pants. This is one opportunity to use a belt. If you can't quite reach that foot behind you, you could loop something around it and use that. And then either just hold it there, or you can start to kick that foot back, which in turn will take the arm with it and roll the shoulder back. You can turn and look back over the right shoulder as well. So just expand into the pose, take up as much space as you can, find the expression that feels good in your body. And slowly release the leg and bring it all the way back down. Very nice. Bring that knee in. Okay, switching over to the second side. So bring your left foot forward. Creep your right knee further back. Come into your straight forward lunge. So fingertips lining up with the front foot. Lift your chest, breathe in here. And then on your exhale, fold back and over the front leg. 4 rounds of this. Trying to flow to your own breath, so create a little bit of a rhythm. And it doesn't have to be in time with mine. And then last time, lunging forward with that knee. And then from there, take that left foot out to the left-hand side, creating more or less that 90-degree angle, so the toes are pointing away from you. Place the left hand against the inside of the knee, right arm reaches out, and then bend it and bring the fingertips to the elbows. So you're sort of turning and looking to your right. And then slowly, again, do this breath by breath, slide your left hand down the inside of the left shin, using the elbow pushing against the knee to lever yourself into a bit more of a rotation. And you might pause after every breath and just give a moment to feel what you were feeling. And then if you feel there's any more depth or availability of movement, you can drop a bit deeper. Just see how it feels in your body. It might be different to the other side as well. So continually trying to roll that left rib cage back, lift up and back with the left elbow. One more breath here. And then slowly come all the way back up. From there, straightening out that left leg, but turning the toes to point forwards, lining up the arch of the foot with your right knee. Reach out with the right hand, bring it down onto the ground, in the process lifting the left leg. And then from here, bend that knee. And again, grab a strap if you need it, if you need that to reach back and hold onto the foot, or the ankle, or the lower shin. And then create whatever shape, again, feels good for you. Maybe just trying to recreate what you did on the first side. If you're holding your breath, try not to, try and let it flow, even though there's a little bit of challenge in this pose. One more breath here. And then release the leg, bring it down, and come all the way back up. Pulling that knee in, we're going to tuck our toes and go up into our first downward dog for today. So lift your hips, walk your feet back, and press the weight back into your heels. Take a couple of breaths, just maybe swaying the hips side to side or pedaling the feet up and down. And then we're going to do a slow vinyasa. So on your inhale, bring yourself forward into your plank pose. Exhale, either bring your knees, chest and chin down or lower yourself down in one smooth movement. Point the toes, come up into a cobra for your first one. And then exhale back down and all the way back to your downward dog. And we'll do one more round, just a simple vinyasa like that. Inhaling forward, exhaling to lower down. Inhale, cobra or full upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Alright, from there, take your right leg up into the air for a moment. Look between your hands, step it through. Spin the left heel down and come on up into your warrior two. Right knee lunging. Spread the fingers wide, drop the shoulder blades down away from your ears, and try and lunge your right knee far enough forward that it stays over your ankle. It points in the same direction as your toes, but you've got about a 90-degree angle there. So for a lot of the poses we're doing in this class, the deeper you can get the legs, the easier the rest of it will be. All right, from here, coming into the first variation of extended side angle pose, leaning your right elbow on that thigh, take the left arm up and over past the ear, reaching beyond the crown of your head. And then work on rolling the left side back, tucking your right side under you. Okay, one more breath here. And then we're going to try and drop a little bit deeper in this pose. So take this right hand down the inside of the right leg. Maybe you hold on to the ankle, or maybe you can reach the floor, or maybe you just hover. but try and just see what it feels like to get a little bit deeper into this pose. Good, take one more inhale, and then exhale to come all the way back up to warrior two. From there, take your hands back down to the mat, and take the right foot all the way back. Okay, we're going to second side. Inhale, take your left leg up into the air. Exhale, step the left foot through between the hands. Spin the right heel down, and come on up into your warrior two, the opposite direction. More or less left heel lining up with right arch of the foot. And try and see if you can get a little bit deeper in the legs by bending the left knee a little bit more, lunging it forward, but keeping it over the ankle. One more breath in, and then take the left elbow, lean it on the front thigh, and reach over your ear, past the crown of your head with the right hand. Take this slightly easier version of the pose to work on the alignment. So roll the right side of the rib cage back, spin your left rib cage under you. Look up if you can. And then on your next breath, take that left hand down the inside of the left leg. Try and keep the left knee lunging forward. That'll bring you closer to the mat. And you can either rest the fingertips on the ground, you can hold onto your ankle or your foot. You can even put a block there and rest on the block if you prefer, or a book. Good, one more breath in. And then sweep your arms all the way back up to your warrior two. Take your hands back to the top of your mat, step the left leg back. If you want to take a vinyasa, go through one. Otherwise, take a child's pose or a downward dog. So from your downward dog, getting ready for the next round, take your right leg up into the air, look between the hands, step it all the way through between the two hands, and lift up, reaching up with your fingertips. So lunging your right knee forward, and then from there, start to come into your revolved prayer pose. So get that left elbow onto the outside of the right knee, bring the two palms against each other, twist to the right, and use the elbow pushing against the knee, and the knee resisting that force to help you with your twist. Try and line your forearms up with each other. You can look up towards the ceiling, point your right elbow up towards the ceiling, keep the back leg nice and strong. One more breath. And then slowly undo the twist, bring your hands back down to the mat, and take that right leg all the way back. Okay, from there, take your left leg up into the air, look between the hands and step it through. Get your balance and inhale, lift yourself up away from the mat, reaching up with fingertips. Coming into your revolved prayer on the second side, right elbow onto the outside of the left knee, two palms pressing against each other, 90-degree angle at your wrists. That back knee will want to bend, try and keep it straight, pull the quadriceps in, pull the kneecap in. Keep breathing. And 3, 2, 1. Undo your twist. Hands back to the mat. Take your left leg back. And again, the same 3 options. If you want to do a vinyasa, do one. If you want to wait in your downward dog, do one. Or bring your knees to the mat and take a child's pose anytime you need it. And then come on up back into your downward dog. Put a little bend in your knees and walk your hands all the way to the back of your mat. Allow yourself to just fold over the 2 legs, let the arms dangle, let the head relax, let the back of the neck be long. And then pressing through the feet, slowly roll yourself all the way up into standing, stacking the spine and bringing the head up last. So from here, we're going to go into a balancing pose. So coming to face, well, I'll face you. Bring all your weight into your right leg. And then bring your left hand out to the side with the palm up as if you're holding a platter of food. So here's the tricky part. Start to bend your left knee. And then when you have your balance, reach back with that hand. And either, let me do it this way, take hold of the inside of the foot, so the arch of the foot, inside of the ankle. Or if you can't quite reach, then use a strap. So you can make a little loop. And you can loop your foot into the strap, and that'll help you with the pose. So you've either got your foot in your hand or in your belt. Right, when you have your balance, work on hugging the right knee in towards the left knee so that the two line up with each other. And then reach your left hand up towards the ceiling, past the crown of your head. Take a breath in. And then on your next breath, slowly start to lean forward with your upper body. Kind of reaching forward with that left arm. At the same time, kick your right knee back. I think I might have mixed up left and right, never mind. Keep going whatever side you're on. And it doesn't matter what your shape looks like, it's how it feels. So work to your own limit. There's a lot of aspects to this pose, primarily the balance, of course. Take a couple more breaths. But wherever you are, whatever shape you're in, keep trying to hug that right knee in towards the midline. And then when you're ready to come out of it, slowly come all the way back to where you started. Release the foot and lower back down. Okay, going on to the second side. So bringing your weight into your left foot. Sorry about the left and right in the last one. Bend the right knee. Take your right hand behind you. And again, hold on to the inside of the foot, the arch of the foot, or use your strap to help you. And then hug that knee in towards its friend, as if you're squeezing something between the legs. Reach the left arm straight up into the air. Breathe in, take a couple of breaths here, and then start to change position by kicking your back foot behind you, which will help to take that shoulder back with it, leaning forward from the hips, reaching your other arm towards the front of the room. And this will look different in everybody's body. Doesn't matter what you look like. Find a shape that you're able to sustain and that challenges you, and breathe into it. And then on your next breath, slowly come all the way back and release the foot, bringing the hands down. Well done. Okay, step into the top of your mat. On your inhale, reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold over the two legs. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, stepping back into your plank. Take a breath in. Exhale and lower. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. And then exhale, downward dog. And then from here, bring both your knees down onto the mat and step your right foot forward to the front of the mat. We're going to start working on one of our first binds. So lunge your right knee forward, but then lift your upper body away from the ground. And work on creeping your right foot as far forward as you can. So you're lunging, and every time you lunge with the knee, you get a little bit closer to the mat. Now start to turn to the left. So similar to what we did as one of our warm-ups, take your right hand onto the inside of that knee and slide it down the inside of the right shin. You might hold onto the foot, you might rest it on a block or a book, or you might be able to reach the ground. Now use that force to roll your chest open to the left and take that left arm up. Good. So we're going to go into extended side angle slightly differently from here. From this pose, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, spin the heel down, so you're turning your toes out to the left, maybe about a 45-degree angle. And we're in our extended side angle, the deeper version of that pose. We just got into it from the ground up. Good, okay. Now lift your heel, turn your toes forward, and bring that back knee down. From here, we're going to try our bind. So starting with this underneath arm, try and take it under your right knee, under your right thigh, as if you're putting on a backpack, and then just see how that feels. If that's as far as you're going, so your body's really complaining at that point, then that's what you're going to work on.
There's a possibility though that if you start to internally rotate this right arm, your hand will end up somewhere on the outside of your right hip. Then this left hand, if you take it behind your back and bend the elbow, you might find the two hands meet. And if they're not, but they're in the same neighborhood, see if you can use your belt or your strap to join them. So take the belt or the strap in this top hand, dangle it down behind you, and then hold onto it with the other hand. Once you're here, work on rolling your shoulders back. So the bind here really helps us with that alignment of trying to roll the right rib cage under, roll the left rib cage back. Good. And see if you can then straighten your elbows, in particular your your left elbow in this case. Very nice. Now, you've done this with the knee down. I'm going to give you the opportunity to undo the bind momentarily, lift that back leg, and then see if you can get into it with the back leg lifted. So the full extended side angle bind from here. So I'm not going to count. You give yourself as many breaths in this pose as you like, or in your variation of it. And then slowly undo the pose. Bring both your hands back to the top of the mat and step that right leg back. Take a moment in your downward dog. Even just close your eyes and feel the after effects of quite a strong unilateral pose. So there's quite a lot of sensation on one side of the body there, which we obviously want to even up now. So from your downward dog, simply drop both your knees down to the mat, and this time step your left foot forward and come on up. So turning your body to the right slightly this time. Take your left hand down the inside of the left leg. Maybe lean it on the ground or onto the foot. And right hand, you can bring it behind your ear. You can reach it over the top of the head. Any variation there. Good. And then from there, tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee off the ground. Spin the heel down. And come into the full variation of extended side angle with the left leg leading. This top hand can either be straight up or over your ear or even bent elbow, whatever you prefer. And then slowly bring your knee all the way back down. So I'm going to do this one the other way so you can see from the opposite side. You're going to try now, coming into your bind, take your left elbow under your left leg. So you're sort of almost placing the left leg over the top of the shoulder, bringing this hand through the gap. And then if you turn the palm, you rotate your arm inwards and bend the elbow, see where that hand ends up. And then maybe, just maybe, if you take your right hand behind your back, they might meet one another. Or you might take a strap and join the two by a strap. And then the more you try and straighten your top elbow, the more it rolls that shoulder blade back and helps with that alignment. And you'll feel that immediately down your right hand side. So you can hold on to either side really. Good, and then from there, if you want to undo your bind for a moment, lift your back knee, spin the heel down, and then come into it again with the back leg lifted. Sometimes when you're a little bit further away from the ground, this might actually get easier variation, but it's a lot of sensation as well. Give yourself a couple of breaths here. And then slowly undo your hands or the strap, bring them both to the mat, and take that leg all the way back into your downward dog. Good, take a couple of breaths there, and then go through a nice, slow, steady vinyasa. And come back into a child's pose. Okay, so this next one we're going to do is another balancing pose called the half moon pose. So sometimes if you use a block for your front hand, it makes it a little bit easier to get into this. So if you have one handy, grab hold of that. From your downward dog, Step your right foot forward between your two hands. Spin your left heel down and come into a very easy variation of extended side angle pose. Now from here, we're going to bring all your weight into this right foot. So look out beyond the right foot and take the right hand onto the ground or onto your block as you allow your left leg to lift up off the ground. Try and roll the left hip up over the right hip and point the toes 90 degrees to your side. See if you can line the two arms up with each other so you're spreading out, expanding into that pose. And then as an added challenge for this class, given that we're binding, I'm going to give you the option of bending the top knee, reaching back with that hand, and if you can find something to hold on to, roll the shoulder back, kick back with that foot. Obviously this takes a little bit more balancing, so concentrate, find something on the ground you can stare at, and if you fall out of it, that's okay, just come back to wherever you were. Good, try and give yourself another 2 breaths, whatever shape you've made. And then slowly release the hand in the leg, bring the top hand down, and step the back foot all the way to the back of the mat. Very nice. Take a couple of breaths here before we do our second side. Alright, so this time stepping the left foot forward, spin the right heel down, come into an easy version of extended side angle, but really we're just using this as a transition into the half moon pose. So look out beyond that left foot. Your hand might even end up off the mat, and that's okay. Take it as far away from that foot as you need so that it can be an assistance to you. You can help your balance with one hand and one foot down. And then really roll the right hip up and over the left hip, point the toes to the side. And then if you did it on the first side, bearing in mind this often feels very different, one side to the other. Whoa. Try and find that foot. Hope you're not watching me while you do that. And then slowly release the leg. Bring both hands down to the mat, take the foot back. Come into your downward dog. Take yourself through a nice slow vinyasa. And then just sit back into your child's pose. Okay, so our next bind we're going to work on. Step your right foot forward and take a nice deep lunge with that right knee. So we're coming back to our revolved prayer pose we did earlier. We're going to start by keeping the back knee down. We can lift it in a moment if you like. But now try and get a little bit deeper into your rotation. So snuggle that right knee into your left arm, but try and take that left arm all the way down the side of the thigh. So there's a much deeper twist. Makes your breathing a little bit more compromised. Now, internally rotate this left shoulder. So take the hand down. And this is where most people get stuck at this point. So definitely don't force this movement if your shoulder does not want to go there. But if you've internally rotated enough to tuck this hand under your right leg, you can take it under there. Now you can take your right hand behind you, and again, they might meet, or you might need a strap to get them to meet. So if you have bound, you should feel a few more degrees extra rotation here. Again, it makes the breathing a little bit harder, but it might make the stretch in the upper back and the thoracic spine a bit more noticeable. And then if you want to tuck your toes, you can lift your back knee off the ground, straightening it as strongly as you can. And then slowly place the knee down, undo the twist, and just come back onto all fours or into your child's pose. Okay, so quite a deep twist. Let's try on the same thing on the second side. So lunging your left knee forward. And then come into your revolved prayer. Now if this was a good pose for you and you like to stay here, then just spend this duration holding that position. It's a brilliant pose. If you want to try and go a little bit deeper, get that right elbow further down the outside of the right thigh. Enough that when you then turn the hand down towards the ground, it might just be able to fit under your thigh. And then take this left hand behind your back, wrap it around, and possibly the two might meet kind of under that left thigh. And if you can do that, then use that to your advantage by just rolling your left shoulder blade back more. And if you did it on the first side, you can tuck the toes here, whoops, and lift your back knee off the ground. Possibly better than what I just did. And then slowly undo your twist. Take the left leg all the way back. You can come into a child's pose or a downward dog. But again, just maybe close your eyes. Take a couple of breaths to notice the effects of those two poses on the body and where you're at now. And if you want to go through a slow vinyasa, take your time and do that. Okay, so we've got our last standing pose sequence before we come down onto the mat. Our last challenge. So take your right leg up into the air, step it between the two hands, spin the left heel down, come on up, warrior two. Okay, from here we're going to try and go into a variation of that bind that we did earlier. So you're going to come down on the inside of your right thigh. Now at this point, you may not want to do the full bind. You can just take this right hand underneath that leg and almost use it like a forklift and just scoop it under and hold onto that leg. And the left hand can just stay on your waist. And that's a perfectly good position to carry on from in the rest of this pose or the sequence. If you want to, if it felt good to you before, you can go into your full bind position with or without a strap. So once you've chosen, look down at your right foot. Start to put all your weight into that foot and step the left foot in little bit by little bit. If you can do it in one giant step, great. Now lean into the left foot, so look at it, that's the one you want to activate, and lift your right heel off the ground. And then try and take the toes off the ground, even if it's just for a couple of seconds. So you get used to transferring all the weight into your left leg and balancing. And if that's going well, then try and stand all the way up, bringing this right leg with you. So it doesn't matter how long that takes or how many attempts, try and bring yourself into an upright posture. So you've got this right leg either cradled in the crook of your right elbow or in your bind. In the full variation of this pose, you're going to try and straighten that leg while you're there and look back over your left shoulder. Well done. Now wherever you are, we're going to try and go all the way back in the reverse order of the way we came. So look down. Gently place your right foot down, don't let it fall. Lean into the right leg, and maybe you do this in stages. Step your left foot all the way back into your original bind. Undo that, and come on up to your warrior two. Take your hands back to the top of the mat, and step back to a downward dog. If you want to bring your knees down to the mat, into a child's pose, do. Just give yourself 3 deep breaths in through the nose, and out through the mouth before we do our second side. Okay, so last standing pose sequence. Step your left foot forward, bring the right heel down, warrior two. Take either your bind or scoop the left arm under the left leg and just kind of hold it in the crook of your elbow. Or take your full bind. Once you've found your position, look down at the left foot. Put all the weight into that foot as you step your right foot in underneath you. Now transfer the weight to your right foot, lift the left heel. Take a couple of practice rounds maybe, just lifting the foot off the ground for a couple of seconds. And when it feels like you're ready, lean all the way into the right leg and come all the way up to standing. Brilliant. See if you can add a little bit of straightening to that leg. Look over the right shoulder. And then get ready for your descent. I find looking down helpful. Slowly bend your standing knee until the left foot is placed back on your mat. Step your right foot all the way to the back of your mat again. Undo your arms and come back up to warrior two. Take your hands back to the top of the mat. Step this left leg back. If you'd like to do one final vinyasa, do it. And then bring your knees down onto the mat, swing yourself around, and we're going to lay all the way down onto your back. Keep your knees bent for now, and just take a couple of breaths there. Okay, and then if you still have your strap handy, now might be a nice time to use it for the next few stretches. We're going to stay down on our back because that was a lot of movement, a lot of flowing. So from your back, straighten out your left leg and take your right foot straight up into the air. So if you can reach and hold on to your big toe with your middle index finger and thumb, that's an option. Or you have your strap handy, so you can just take the strap, hook it under the foot, and hold on to that. That's another nice option. So start by just pulling that leg up and back. If you find your left leg is starting to lift off the ground, then take your left hand onto the top of that thigh and try and just encourage it down. So you're pressing the back of the left leg into the mat while you pull the right leg up. And then try and keep some pressure on that left leg as you bring this right leg all the way out to the side. So you're not rolling with it. And then bring yourself back up into the center. Now swap hands on the strap. So take your left hand onto the strap, bring your right arm out to the side, and take that leg across your body, coming into a big open rotation. You can keep your knee straight or you can bend it for all of these. It's up to you. And then bring yourself all the way back to the center and switch sides. So either holding on to your left big toe with your left hand or using your strap in the left hand. Right hand, you might want to hold it onto the front of your right thigh to push down and just pull this left leg up and back, bent or straight knee. Then take that leg out to the left hand side, just opening up the front of the hip. Bring the leg back into the center, switch hands. So now you have your right hand on the strap. Take your left arm out to the side and bring this leg right across the body, rolling into the twist with your pelvis, but trying to keep the left shoulder blade down while you hold it. And then come all the way back up to the center and take that leg down. Okay. And then last pose before our Shavasana, take your arms up overhead, reaching them behind you. Take your legs straight up into the air, so you're making an L shape between your body and your legs. And then just a nice gentle lift of the pelvis, reach your feet back, and try and place your toes into your hands. So you're holding on to your feet. You can kind of just hook the toes and the fingers, hold on to the base of the feet if you like. And then what I sometimes find helps with the stretch here is if you hold on to your feet but actively push your feet away and up. And by activating the muscles down the back of the body, you can sometimes get a really nice stretch into the lower back.